no.
Tell me what the joke is again. I would love to hear the joke again.
I can't do the joke again because it got me in trouble. Got me in trouble with the missus. That's all I got, man. I was hoping you guys would like chip in and like try to
Well, we ain't going to hear the joke because Berkough is too chicken, but we're live, and welcome to Pixel Pints. We are the only global gaming podcast that covers two great things, which is great beer and video games. I'm your host, Mitch, because McWomple is out. He scurried away after our debacle of an episode last week where it offered multiple people who should not be on a podcast while one driving. Don't drive and do a podcast, people. And then also some people that didn't have any internet service provider out in the middle of the woods tried to do a podcast with you, and it just didn't work out either. So we're not posting that one. So that one's just going to be in the, what is it called? The archives of the secret episodes of the podcast.
It'll be on Twitch, I think, for one more week. So if you're interested in the shit show that was last week, you're more than welcome to watch it for another 7 days.
So, that a good point, which we stream live here on Twitch at twitch.tv/pixelpints every single weekend, covering the two great things, which is good beer and video games. And if you want to follow us to see when we go live each and every single week on Twitch, you can follow us on Twitter at pixel_pints or on Instagram at pixelpintspod. You can find our videos archived, except for last week's, except on Twitch. But the other podcasting services, it's not there. But we have all the other episodes are there, so go see those. And we're also on YouTube. Just find us, search Pixel Pints, and we're right there for you. Again, I'm your host, Mitch, and I'm joined by an esteemed colleague of brilliant, yes, I said brilliant gentlemen. I better get compliments later. Of knowledgeable gamers. Berkough, who is in the City of Lights that I drove by twice, but I did not say hi.
I'm surprised you introduced me like that. I was expecting you to mention Liam. Oh, wow. Quite the introduction this guy's getting.
Not jealous at all.
How are you doing, sir?
No, not too bad, man. It was hot as shit. I was trying to find the Fahrenheit. Actually, I don't know the Fahrenheit, but there's two of us on tonight, so I gotta
Google the conversion, man. Google the conversion.
I know, shit. It's taking me a minute on my phone.
Well, it's probably not as hot as where I'm gonna go to, where it has been so hot. Apparently, his country has been wrapping his bridges in tinfoil. Liam, all the way across the pond. Or should I say the pond of Inferno, because it's been burning so hot over there. How are you doing?
Well, it's been great. We've all been breeding, like, excessively because we lost half of our population. They just melted, So it's been great for, everybody. We're having a whale of a time over here.
And people say global warming's not real.
Well, yeah,
or that
exactly.
It's not beneficial. I mean,
but I'm still a little bit conspiratorial because of all of the people that melted. None of the politicians melted, and I'm a little bit upset about that. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna hop around. So, did you get the Fahrenheit before we hop? Skip, and move.
I want to say it was 109 today or yesterday. Ridiculously hot.
That's hot. It was not that hot here in LA. It was not that hot. It was actually pretty beautiful this week. So, feeling everyone else's torches. Well, I mean, I went to a wedding last weekend and it was hot. Like, so I was one of the groomsmen, and
you were up north too, right? You were way up north.
Yeah, I was in Wyoming. So, I was one of the groomsmen, and standing up there, we were talking after being like, my foot was on fire. Because the sun rays was so hot on my leather shoe, it was like burning my foot. And so I was talking to the groom, who's a good friend of mine, and he was just like, dude, my shoe was on fire. Was yours? And I was like, yes. I was like, I almost couldn't stand it. So yeah, it was good. So let's just move on. We got two things we talked about, which is good beer and video games. So we gotta start out with the beer.
The Bears.
I do not have beer today, just because I need to drink water today.
All right, Liam, you probably don't have anything to drink, right? Because it's like 8 in the morning there.
But the coolest thing to keep us cold, greatest groomsman gift ever. Yetis, koozies, and we were drinking so much beer, man, in these koozies.
The top screws off, right?
Top screws off, yep.
Place.
So so you can seal it in place, and then even has my initials on it.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
So best groomsman gift you could ever ask for, especially on a hot wedding day. So like it worked out for all of us on that end. So yeah, so koozie. In the future, I'll put a beer in here. How about that?
That will work. Yeah. So I've got Warsteiner, their regular Pilsner.
Worcestershire?
No, Warsteiner. This is a German beer, imported from Germany. But yeah, this is German Pilsner. This is basically the same style that all American domestics are, because the people that own those companies were all German. So like Miller Coors, Budweiser. The style that beer is what this is as well, but this is like the original.
Sure.
So yeah, I was standing in line at the liquor store today, and the girl behind the counter, she's like, "Will that be all, sir?" And I immediately I was the fucking Matt Damon gif. I just aged instantly. I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I'll be fine, thank you."
No, you should have said, "Sir, sir."
I'm
like, going to go back for some more.
Sure you want to check my ID to make sure that I'm that I'm the legal drinking age?
Apparently in Utah, that is a requirement, and they have to scan your ID to do it. So, I can talk about beer. I mean, I posted it when you guys at first when I left the podcast last week and then came back. I had a coconut beer, and that was fascinating. Yeah, it definitely tasted like coconut, and it was also like heavy. It was super fascinating because coconut you think is light when you think about coconuts.
Yeah.
Especially when you're coconut flavor. Yeah, it was a stout. It was really rich in flavor in it. The coconut really stood out. It was probably one I wouldn't drink a second. Like I wouldn't go 2 in a row.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's kind of one to experience, enjoy, and then walk away, and that's kind of where I got with that one. So,
all right. Well, as long as you enjoyed it, dude, that's what matters.
Yeah, I mean, there was a blueberry one. I was really tempted of going crazy.
You should have got that one. You should have got it for your second round.
And then told Keith, and then Keith would have been like, "Blueberry? What are you bloody mad?"
Yeah. He's had his own adventures with beers, though. Don't let him dissuade you.
No, I get it. It's like pineapple on pizza. It's not for everybody, but I go crazy for the pineapple on the pizza because pineapple does deserve to be on a pizza as long as you combined it with the second ingredient that matches its sweet to salty. So put sausage on there. No, not ham. No. Put sausage.
It's usually ham, dude. That's a
you also could do sweet and hot and sweet. That also works too. So if you do or spicy and sweet, so you also could do like salty, spicy sausage with sweet pineapple. Great combination.
Right.
Bam. Flavors. Boom. Chef Mitch. Not only does he make video games, he's a chef too.
Cooks pizzas.
Liam, any interesting beverages you've had? Because we know you're not, because you're gluten free. Has tortured.
That hasn't been a problem for a little while. I've got to get back on keto actually.
Oh, it's keto. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was keto. So I keep meaning to
the special K. It's the special K.
Yeah, I ordered like a beer in my last shopping list, and the only two things that my last bit of shopping decided, actually, we're not getting that. They didn't give me my beers, and they didn't give me my ice lollies. Two things. One, I need one for the podcast.
Dude.
I needed the other for the hot weather.
Yeah.
You know, I could have melted. You know, the supermarkets, they just don't care. You know, and they're sold out, obviously.
I wonder how many people in your country went to the supermarket just to stand in the freezer section to stay cold.
That's totally a thing.
Especially because you guys,
Yeah.
like, I think I read a statistic. It's like 80% of your buildings don't have AC, and and a vast majority of your buildings also are meant to contain heat, not like get rid of heat.
I'm sure, Mitch, that probably like more than 95% of our buildings don't have AC.
Okay,
Wow.
I thought it was 90,
Yeah.
but I was gonna go 80 for safety, just in case I was wrong.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
80 sounds more
We
accurate.
wish.
Wow.
We wish it was 80.
We wish it was. So grocery stores are your only safety net in the UK. Go to your grocery
Yeah,
store,
yeah.
stand in the freezer section. There you go.
I would have squeezed myself into my own freezer if I could have. It's like, oh no, the door's shut and I'm locked in. You know, oh well.
That's
Right.
More
okay.
comfortable in there.
At least the body will be preserved.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right,
Yeah.
moving on. We are now talking about games because we're done with beer, which the gaming topic today is a fascinating one. Ooh, today's topic is, what game do you gentlemen want to save from being lost in the ether forever? So let me just give an example-ish type situation here. Basically, what game is not playable on current hardware that you wish could be brought back either as a remaster or a remake to be able to be playable on this generation type hardware? So if you use Ocarina of Time, that is an invalid choice because you can play it on your Switch. A valid choice, which my choice would be, one of my choices, and it's just kind of a throwaway choice, I want the infamous games on PlayStation.
Oh,
Those games
Okay.
are unfortunately left to suffer on PS3. I need them. I need them now more than ever. So
right, so
that's an example of one. But
To clarify some rules, because I wasn't, when we initially started talking about this, I was not thinking along those lines. So is it anything prior than the last two generations?
oh, it can be
So, like-
whenever. It can be whenever, as long as it's not playable on current hardware.
Okay, all right. I might
So-
have additional ones then. I had a few, but yeah.
Well, you can get us started then, since you got this long list, Mr. Wise Guy. Go ahead.
Yeah. So
What's your game?
yeah, when you brought it up, I was like, oh, didn't we talk about this before? You're like, no, we've never done this. I think we did a similar topic on Podcast Reload, which is why it sounded familiar to me. And my choice on that episode is the same as my choice on this episode. That would be Parasite Eve. And I think that it has a good chance of becoming or remastered because Square has been on a kick of doing that lately. Like Legend of Mana, Saga Frontier. They're releasing all these Live Alive or Live Alive, Live Alive. They're all like releasing these games on modern hardware. So
You said Parasite Eve?
yeah, Parasite Eve.
I've never heard of it, so I'm Googling
What?
it.
oh, I love Parasite Eve so much.
It's a,
Mitch, you know,
it's
because
a 1998 JRPG.
Mitch,
Yeah.
you missed out because I always used to think of Parasite Eve in the same sort of breadth as Resident Evil. It was basically like Square Enix's
It
Resident
was
Evil,
Square's version, yeah, of Resident Evil,
Yeah.
totally.
and it was fucking great. I love Parasite Eve.
Was a M-rated game. Interesting. Okay. Okay.
It was kind of like a semi-action because it would pause in between, right? So you had an area like when you were in the battles that you could kind of run around in, but it would pause every time you wanted to do an action.
You can buy it for $60,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the original
or without the case for $10.
Yeah, the original game is pretty cheap right now. It's not one of those that's super popular.
Well, now I just look down and I see someone selling it for $139.
Of course they are, because they can get away with it, I guess.
Well, they're selling it for that. Not necessarily
It's not
someone
easy to
will
buy.
buy it. So
right.
And now GameStop sells it for $17.99, but it's out of stock. All right. Well,
Yeah.
okay, that's good. Okay. All right, Liam, what's one of yours?
So sorry, I was just wondering, Matt. When you say you'd want it to come back, how would you want it to come back? Because it seems like it could be pretty likely that it ends up on PlayStation's new service. At some point.
That's a good question. Yeah.
You
Okay.
want a port? You want a remake? What do you want? What do you want? Remaster?
That was me. To me, that wouldn't be enough because I just want them to straight up remake it.
So, all right. Here's the problem with remaking it: is Square is gonna do some shit to the game that I'm not gonna like. So I don't want to. I don't want to remake because they're just gonna piss me off if they do that. But a remaster where they take like the backgrounds and the models and everything, and they just breathe some life into them, do a little AI magic on the background textures, and make it a higher resolution.
Give that soundtrack some TLC as well.
Right. Remaster.
That soundtrack is great.
Yeah, remaster the soundtrack. Maybe I want to say there was some voice acting. Do some of the voice acting.
But there's definitely some questionable voice acting in that game. It's like Mitch. So you understand? Think Resident Evil Code Red levels of voice acting.
Oh, Steve. Oh, Steve.
Yeah,
Steve. I said I was sorry. That's literally what he said. It's like I said I was sorry. Oh, these are cool. I want automatics. It's like, what? What kind of dialogue is this? It's like
I feel like the Japanese creator may have been inspired by Parasite from that character.
It's like the writer from the first game, because like the second game's writing is way better. It's like leaps and bounds better. It's not amazing, but it's still better. But then it's like they take, like, you have the first game, Resident Evil writing is corny as hell, laughable at times. Then you have it improved for the next two games, and then it's like the writer from the first game's like, come over to Code Veronica and write this up. It's like...
Okay, in terms of what I want, my Microsoft, it looks like their acquisition of Activision Blizzard's going to go through.
Yeah.
And, they're building up quite a repertoire of studios and IP now. And me personally, I'm just like, you guys own, and even before they made all these acquisitions, they owned a ton of IP that were just gestating, like really, really good IPs. And they need to go back into some of them. And specifically for me, I want to see a remaster of Black and White, or a remake, or a sequel, just anything really. Because it's kind of annoying for me, because I see all of the attention they're giving the Age of Empires games, and it's just like, yes, great, but oh no, we're not exactly dying for games that are exactly like Age of Empires,
Black and White was Peter Molyneux, right?
Yeah, there's nothing like Black and White on the market right now, and those games would benefit from a touch-up remaster. Good.
The first one's pretty rough. Playing it on, playing it on Steam or whatever you can get it on today.
Well, I don't think you can. I think you have to torrent them, I believe.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still own the disc, so I'm on.
Nice.
Yeah, but actually, to be honest, I think there might be some problems with that as well. With the old EA product ID codes and stuff like that. But yeah, I love those games, and I'd love to be able to play them polished up a bit.
Interesting. Yeah. Actually, there's not a whole lot of God games in general. I don't feel like, or they're not very popular these days. Dude, Populous.
They're like non-existent these days.
Yeah, but Populous could use a remake or a remaster.
Yeah, totally.
That would be fun.
It's actually
Mitch-
kind of surprising. Wow, actually,
Mitch is like,
it's EA.
Mitch is like, I have no idea what games these are. What are you talking about? Do you not know what Populous is, Mitch?
Mm.
So
Oh wow.
it was a DOS game, and it was also on the Super Nintendo. And it was I want to say it was Sid Meier, if I'm not mistaken. But
Was it? Well, it was studio. Oh, fucking,
I'll pull it up while I'm trying to think about it.
the old EA studio that got closed.
Yeah.
West something.
Well, Bullfrog actually it looks like.
Oh right, okay.
So it's Peter
Hardcore.
Molyneux. It's Peter Molyneux, not fucking Sid Meier. So yeah, there we go.
Okay, I guess that suggests that Black and White is basically the spiritual successor to
It must be, yeah.
Populous. Mhm. Wow. I guess they are kind of similar.
All right, Mitch. What's your first real answer? Your first real game.
My
that you
first
picked?
real answer is I will take a port or I will take a remake, but I want Dino Crisis 2.
Oh, oh man!
Nice.
I don't
I'm
want
loving
Dino.
everybody's
I
pick
don't.
so
I
far.
don't want Dino Crisis. I want Dino Crisis
Right,
2. Dino Crisis 2, I think mechanically is like one of. Oh God, I don't know how to explain it. It's so unique, but yet it's so like, how did no one else think of it? Which is just like killing things on a point system and using points to purchase ammo, upgrade your weapons, buy new weapons, and literally, I think it was they installed the running and shooting with the tank controls at the time. It just was I liked, the only thing I didn't like was the story. I think the story was kind of cheeky and cheesy and not enough. I actually liked the first story better because it was more of a mystery of like who done it, which I kind of thought was fascinating.
All right. So
Yeah, I kind of get that.
what if they did two's mechanics and remade all of that with one
That'd be good.
and
That'd
did
be
one
good.
story?
That'd be good.
It's such a short game though.
If they they can always reimagine
I
it.
feel
They
I
can
feel like yeah.
they can
I feel
always
like they'd
reimagine.
extend it.
Yeah, they can reimagine the entire plot. They can
Alright,
flesh out
I'd be
things
fine with that.
longer. Like
Yeah.
there's things to be done. Like it's just I see the Dino Crisis series as a great foundation and great skeleton that can be built upon. It just needs some meat on the bones.
Right.
So that's my like need it
Here's
now.
here's
I have it for PlayStation 3, but I can't put it on a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, here's a good question. Would you be comfortable with tank controls today if somebody could figure out a way to make it feel modern?
Yes. Well,
I think we've talked about this
well,
before, but
actually,
yeah.
the only hiccup with that would be as long as it's on, I have to use the D-pad because I think tank controls don't work very well
don't think they work
with
with
an
an
analog
analog
stick. It just doesn't work very well because the huge element that comes into play is that with tank controls, if you're holding like up, that's straight in whatever
Right.
direction you're going. And so it can become very jarring and confusing to the player if you're trying to do it stick, because all of a sudden you can start tilting in certain directions with your thumb, which then could also alter dramatically which direction you go. So like I think as long as you use the D-pad, but then all of a sudden that hinders current contrivances in the games industry, which is the D-pad is used for a lot of inventory reasons and for quick menus and quick pull-ups and weapon swapping and things like that. So like it's hard to say that tank controls could work in the modern age. I would be open to it, but it would have to be really well thought out.
Right. Okay.
Just gonna say, I have been spoiled by the Resident Evil remakes lately, and if I didn't get a Dino Crisis remake or reimagining or something that wasn't running that engine with a third-person view, I would be gutted.
It would be darn pretty shooting the head off that dinosaur and seeing the guts
Oh.
fly off.
That would probably make the most sense, just from an economic standpoint for Konami or Capcom.
Tank control.
Konami.
Yeah.
What the Konami? Konami don't make games.
I meant Capcom. Yeah, I corrected myself towards the end there.
Oh, you better have. All right, Berkough, what's your second game?
So as far as I know, this is not available anywhere else except for the PlayStation 2, the original Red Faction. Did you guys ever play that?
That's available on PlayStation 4.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well,
and
PlayStation 4,
Faction
but
2.
not on 5.
Well, it was backwards compatible.
Yeah. So if you can buy it on
backwards
PS4, you can buy it on
compatible.
PS5.
All right. Well, I didn't know that this one was available, so that was one that I
Yeah,
was.
All right, you
It's,
say you got a long list. Go off the next one.
It's probably on the
Next
new
one.
Plus service.
We corrected you. Move on. What's the next one? Oh,
shit.
so much for that long list he had there, huh, Liam?
I know,
Huh?
right?
He was like, oh, I got a few
he's-
more. A few more is more than
Gutted
one.
right now.
So
you
it's-
really want to talk about Red
It's
Faction.
no, I know. Well, I know that we have these games that we like keep bringing up that are like these old games. I don't know if it's brought up too much on the podcast, but definitely in Discord. No One Lives Forever. So that's a first person shooter where you play as a female spy. It was on PC and
Oh.
PS2.
Yeah,
think-
you and Jonesy were like
Yeah.
big in this, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
and it was,
never-
I've Google searched this before.
it's a really interesting first person shooter because it is kind of tactical and you have to kind of figure out almost like Hitman style, like where the NPCs are going and like what it is exactly that you have to do for each stage, and like each stage is a little bit different and you have to do something a little bit different. Like there's one stage where you have to be a sniper. There's another stage where you have to do sneaking. There's other stuff like that. And so it's a really good use of I want to say it was like a Quake engine or something like that.
This is like one of those games that I'm kind of envious of other people for getting to play when it came out. Because had I known this existed, this would have been right up my alley.
I think the best way to play it is probably PS2 if you can get it.
Do it, Sony.
All right,
I
Liam.
remember trying to play it on PC, and it's just too hard to get working.
Mm. My next pick, I guess. It's kind of weird because I don't want to go for things that seem like there's a pretty good possibility of it happening. But I'm gonna just say it anyway. I want them to remaster all three of the original Time Splitters games in some fashion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the game No One Lives Forever. It's sort of in terms of the sort of stylization and the humor of it, I guess.
Everyone loved that damn monkey. Everyone loves the monkey. Everyone
love the
loves
monkey.
being the short one so they don't get shot.
Yeah, it didn't take much to impress young, childish Liam. Mitch. That monkey did the job real well, and then all of the other
Annoys the
immature
shit out
silly
of everybody
characters.
else, and you're like, what the fuck? Just get the hell away from me.
Oh yeah, I'm sure my dad had a few words when he heard that on the TV. But
I mean, I think that was
I
the
just
first
love
time
those games so much.
Well, I was gonna say, I think that was the first time I remember about like warping between areas in the middle of maps, and I thought that was so fantastic.
Yeah, like that game did a lot of really cool shit that other games have sort of done afterwards, but nobody sort of pointed back to where like this game was kind of the first of a few in the genre that tried all of these crazy, wacky things, and actually told a pretty compelling, albeit stupid story. Three of the games, that just the humor. it's sort of like with the Straw Humans, like the remasters that they have coming out now. If they were going to remake it, I would love it if they could just recreate all of that humor, which I've got to imagine, because I haven't played it in years, but I've got to imagine there's a lot of terribly politically incorrect shit in those games by modern day standards. I can only imagine. But I wouldn't want them to change any of it. I'd want them to just leave it as it was and let me go back into it and probably cringe. But I just want to know what that experience would look like through a modern day lens. Because those games are ridiculous and just the stories were convoluted as all hell, but so charming for it. And
Be a great games as a service free to play game.
Yeah, like totally.
Because of the like the stages as episodes type of thing.
Yeah, and then also imagine like dressing your monkey. Like you give that thing you give that freaking a fedora, and like sold.
Yeah, you just predicted their monetization strategy for the game they're making.
Give them a trench coat and a fedora, and damn, like that monkey is golden. And then you give it a golden gun. Yeah, no, it's great stuff.
Mitch, do you have another one?
I do. I got two more, so we can keep going around the room. We must go, just like it's your birthday. You know, the thing where you have to go around the room. You must go. Anyways, you know, just I try to bring the comedy from the crew because y'all are boring.
Jeez.
Just kidding.
As the only British person here, I find that highly dissatisfactory.
I like the phrasing you used there. Dissatisfactory instead of just saying disappointed.
I've got to impress without Keith here.
Yeah, someone's got to take over Keith's word of the day. Except you're not doing so hot with dissatisfactory. That's not good enough. I expect higher dialect here.
Keith, I need a word.
I need a word.
It's something extraordinarily English.
So Berkough, you would like this one.
Okay.
Starts with an A.
All right.
And the second word starts with a P. Can you guess what it is?
Alpha Protocol?
It is Alpha Protocol.
That one's stuck on PS3, Xbox 360 for sure.
Yeah, Obsidian. Xbox.
They could do it now. Well, they might be able to because fucking Microsoft's got a pretty good relationship with Sega. And that's who published it originally.
Yeah, and that's the reason why it's stuck in hell.
Yeah.
But knowing Sega, like, I would not mind them bringing a new franchise back because of the success of the Sonic movie. They have a movie studio. And what sounds like a great movie franchise? Alpha fucking Protocol. So therefore, they need to bring Alpha Protocol back. So either Sega does it. I don't think Obsidian's going to do it. Microsoft's not in that wheelhouse. And there's no way they're going to hand it off to another studio because they can't get games done. That's just their pedigree at the moment. Until they prove me otherwise. So I would like to see an Alpha Protocol. I'd like to actually just see a remake of it, to be honest, because I think what they started with was not
a remaster.
No, I want a full-fledged remake. Because I think some of the controls aren't modernized enough for current time. It's buggy. It's buggy as shit. But I think the concept's really nice. I think it's a really cool. It's probably the best spy game on the market for being as buggy as shit as it is.
Well, you can't buy it now at all because I tried to buy it on Steam for you that one night.
I know you can't even buy it. It's so stupid. But yeah, it's But I think it is because here's the thing: like you're a spy, you go to multiple locations, you have a lot of different people. The dialogue trees, and it actually affects things. Like you can romance certain people, you can have like your bond chick if you really want one, and like they do have consequences, especially if you 2x certain women. Like it's a legit thing. Like it all works, and I think it's really shows how well like they could do a spy game. And like basically we need a spy game. I'm waiting for the spy game. I don't have a spy game. I need a spy game. Give me a spy game. Do you get what I'm trying to get at here, fellas? Give me Alpha Protocol.
Well, dude, it's basically Metal Gear Solid meets Mass Effect. That's
But
the
better.
concept behind it. Yeah.
Well, better than one of those ones.
At least the writing's better in one of them. Berkough.
I was
go ahead.
going to say that I love that pick, Mitch, because I never got to experience that game fully because like that game was right up my alley. But when I played it, I played it twice. I played it twice. Got 2 different game-breaking bugs that fucked me. Yeah, and it just got to the point where I just gave up and never got back to it. But I really liked it, and I would love a full remake without all the bugs, so I could actually properly play it this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they could do something really great. I know we have Splinter Cell, but it's just not the same. It's really not the same. They're two totally different franchises.
I feel like that series needs to go back to it. Anyway, I really liked Blacklist, but I want Splinter Cell.
Well, I think they could take Alpha Protocol and use the control scheme of a Splinter Cell game like Blacklist, the actiony type that they had going. Like that one could work for Alpha Protocol as a spy game.
Yeah.
And then just add all the other stuff and modernize the rest of it. Like I think that could totally work. Totally.
The problem was the RPG mechanics. So part of the reason that like the controls are so bad and shit is because it's intentional. Because by the time you get to the end of the game, you're actually good at the shit.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense in context of the story because you're already supposed to be the shit.
Yeah. It's like
So it doesn't. Yeah. It's
they need to redo
kind
the
of,
story to make it function within the reasoning of saying like you suck ass because every other agent died and you're the last one left and you're in training or something like that. Like that would be a great way to frame it.
There's the whole sequence with the hospital or whatever where you're just fucking. You can run through it like murder like 40 guys. It's supposed to be before you're even,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, that's on my list. That's on my Mitch list. Berkough, what's on your Berkough list?
Let's see. So a lot of stuff from PS2. I feel like a lot of that stuff is just locked on there for some reason. But a lot of people have been wanting a Xenosaga trilogy remaster pack. And I think that would be interesting if they could get that done because from what I understand, Namco or Bandai Namco still owns the rights to the series and the name and the original games. But obviously Monolith Soft is now like a Nintendo party.
Interesting. So the publishers are as follows. It's Namco in Japan, Namco Bandai in North America, but in Europe, it's Sony Computer Entertainment.
Oh, that is interesting. Yeah.
So who knows who owns that one? It could be Sony. It's probably Namco.
It's probably Namco, but yeah,
could be a rights issue though.
Yeah.
The European market's probably a huge issue if Sony owns the rights for that.
Yeah, so that's weird.
And Sony may have made an exclusive game in Europe just because that sometimes happens when other publishers they can't get like a European publisher. It's happened quite a few times. So.
Right.
Yeah. Sony just publishes it themselves. Oh, Jim Ryan, that was his job back in the day. That's Jim Ryan. You got to blame for that. Bloody Jimbo.
So there was episode 1, episode 2,
episode 3. Yeah, they were all.
There was there's not episode 3. There was the Pied Piper.
Wait, what are you talking about?
And then there's 1 and 2 for the DS, and then there was 3.
Yeah, but they were all for the PS2.
No. 1 and 2 was also released in Japan for the Nintendo DS.
DS. Yeah, the DS.
Which was a remake of episode 1 and 2 with redrawn artwork, gameplay adjusted for portable platform, in addition to story elements based on cut content from the home console version. Like Pied Piper, Xenosaga 1 and 2 remains exclusive to Japan.
But it wasn't
Mitch,
complete.
when you say Pied Piper, you mean say Pied Piper?
Is it Pied Piper?
Well, I'd assume so.
Pied? Well, I guess Pied.
go,
Yeah,
Keith.
Pied.
Doing
Yeah.
your job again, Keith.
Pied Piper, whatever. It's 1 a.m. I'm not reading at 1 a.m.
I was gonna let you have it. I was like, yeah, that's fine.
It's the Pita Piper.
The Pied Piper's singing you to sleep right now.
All right, Liam. Before I somber to sleep, what do you got?
I'm gonna cheat.
Okay.
I should be allowed to. I'm British. God damn it.
Well,
I'm just gonna say
cheating's what formed America. We were sick of your cheating, and we left.
That's true. That's true. We'll cheat you back into the empire one day. Mark our words.
Now, if we burn our own country down first.
Oh God.
Which might happen.
No. That might happen.
Which might happen.
We burned ours down too, so no judgment here. But,
Well, at least you can make a speech at least you can make a 2-minute speech in less than an hour and record it. Because according to our last president, it took him an hour to record a 2-minute speech because he kept screwing up the words or didn't want to say something.
oh. It's like you guys will burn down your country with politics and guns and shit, and we'll just be burnt by heat waves.
My favorite, not to get political, but my favorite comment I heard from made me like what an idiot. No offense to the lady, but a reporter went up and was like, she's British, and she's like, you guys have guns the problem because like they're like, we don't have them in the UK. She's like, well, you have mass stabbings. And she's like, yeah, but they're not as extreme deaths as in here in the United States. She's like, well, you can go back to where you came from and we're going to enjoy our guns. And I was like, okay. And I was like, okay, we're going to enjoy our mass deaths. Great. It's great. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to turn that into a thing, but I thought it was hilarious the way she was like, well, go back to your mass stabbings and we'll keep our guns with mass deaths.
So what I'm going to cheat with is Rockstar Games. I'm just going to... basically, they remaster themselves. I'm cheating, Mitch.
You can't
This
cheat.
is what I'm doing.
Nope.
This is the Empire, you know?
I'll take your turn away. I'll take your turn. You can't cheat.
It's just whenever I look at Rockstar Games, I see all of the same problems over and over again, and it's just like they're one of the most rich, companies in the world. They're one of the most successful. They have all of these IPs that people love dearly, and they just have all of the money from GTA Online, and will continue to have all the money from GTA Online, and they have all of this staff. They don't need working on Grand Theft Auto 6. If you don't know, in the last couple of weeks, I think, pretty recent time, it just came out that they had been working on remasters for Grand Theft Auto 4 and Red Dead Redemption, and they'd been cancelled. They'd even cancelled the port of Red Dead Redemption 2 to next generation platforms, which people are annoyed about because people are annoyed that Rockstar isn't supporting Red Dead Online enough, which is a fair concern to have given how big a studio it is and how many resources they have.
They just came out with that tweet today or yesterday. They're like, damn it, they're adding the features that I wanted.
Oh yeah, in GTA Online, but they're keeping their goose fed because that's the one that makes them money.
Right.
Whereas there's this other thing over here that could also be making them money that people want to play, except they're not being given any reasons for people to want to play. I sort of understand because Red Dead Online is a shit ton of fun.
What is the game that you want to bring?
It's their classic games, basically. They have this huge library of great games that are just sitting there doing nothing, gathering dust.
Okay.
Bully.
And yeah, Bully, yeah,
Bully,
exactly.
Manhunt.
That's the funny thing is that the scholarship edition, which is the best edition of Bully,
Right.
is only available on Xbox and PC. It's like, why isn't there a PlayStation version? Why isn't there a version on Switch?
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
Come on. You can play Grand Theft Auto 4 through backwards compatibility on Xbox, but come on, this game is one of the highest rated games of all time and deserves a little bit better treatment than it's received, I would think. Red Dead Redemption has never been on PC. Again, another one of the highest rated games of all time. Just can't play it on PC.
I feel like Red Dead 2 coming to PC is kind of a big deal.
Well, it was,
Yeah.
There's still this other game that's just never been on PC.
Right. Well, it might be even more difficult to port or to.
Well, they lost the source code to Red Dead Redemption,
Yeah.
so they'd literally have to remake it to get it onto PC, essentially.
There was
but
a Max Payne game recently, right? Like, but what
they
about
did.
the originals? They've never come to anything else.
No, they haven't, but they gave them back to Remedy earlier this year.
Oh,
So
interesting.
Remedy are working on remakes for it, which everybody thought, oh man, Rockstar's finally going to do it. They're finally going to look after all of their old shit.
Honestly, like,
no, we're canceling all of that stuff.
Max Payne in the control engine, I'm not mad about that. Right?
Yeah, I think, yeah, they did say it would be in the Northlight engine, which is awesome. But we need to stop praising Rockstar, Matt.
I never praise Rockstar. I know Rafa does.
I know I'm
He
all
wakes
about
up,
that.
He wakes
What
up
have you?
and prays to him, and then goes to work.
Yeah, Rafa would agree with me that me and Rafa are very much like, what have you done for me recently kind of people, And
Well,
we
Rafa.
were very happy when they announced Max Payne, but it's been a couple of months since then,
Well,
and
Rafa.
we want more.
I was gonna say Rafa. He prays 6 days a week. I mean, 6 days, six times a day, with his blanket, with his Nico blanket he puts out, and he
There's nothing wrong with going bowling with your cousin.
And then he makes sure he faces towards the Rockstar studio direction so that he knows he's facing Rockstar. So
yeah. Come on, Nico.
What are you doing?
Nico Bellic. That's all I remember from that.
It was a good story, actually.
I thought it was okay. It was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing I didn't like is he always. I wish.
So the one thing that
I didn't like his outfit choices. His outfit choices were not great. Like the only thing he looked good is in a suit. Besides that, I hated all the outfit choices. And even when you go buy something in the store, he doesn't look good in it.
Yeah. So the one thing that I really missed was the character alteration elements from San Andreas.
Yep.
So like in San Andreas, you can get fat as fuck.
Yes.
Or you can work out and get ripped.
Yep.
Or you can be skinny, or you can be fat and ripped. I mean.
Well, this is why Rockstar needed to learn from Sleeping Dogs, and Sleeping Dogs is known as one of the could have been the GTA killer, but
well, it started off as a true crime game, right?
Yeah, it was a true crime.
Yeah.
So it was the sequel to True Crime LA.
Yeah, but anyway,
we still don't know whether Square Enix even sold the rights to Sleeping Dogs to Embracer Group or not, because they probably still have the rights.
I hope Embracer Group has it and they make one.
Because they would do something with it.
God, I want one. I want one so bad. The Kung Fu was so good in that game, so good.
It was pretty good. Yeah.
I love the combat system in that game. That was the first time I had a lot of fun on like a GTA style game in a long time. I was like, wow, this combat's engaging.
Honestly, though,
and the story was cool too, because you're like infiltrating like a Chinese gang ring, and it's so interesting because it's all like political intrigue mixed in with like trying to keep your secret identity. It's like so good, so good.
The only thing I would say though is as much as I do enjoy the combat in Sleeping Dogs, and this may just be because I've been playing it recently, but I think the combat in Yakuza is actually better. Sleeping
Well,
Dogs.
Yakuza's newer. And
Well,
and I would argue against it. I would say I actually prefer.
one is more technical, one is more arcadey.
Yeah, that's the
Yakuza is
difference.
more arcadey, and
Yes.
Sleeping Dogs is more technical.
Yes, I like the tactical.
Yeah, I prefer the arcadey for sure.
I mean, I like the tactical because I like the environmental damage you can do to your enemy is so great.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
smashing them, like throwing them into like one of the sliding doors and just slam the sliding door right on their stomach. It's like so cool. Reminds me of the Punisher, but in like a good way.
Yeah.
I enjoyed how challenging it was.
I could only understand the last three words because I think you were coming from outer space. Are you sure you're in your room,
Okay.
Liam? Because we were getting some signals that was like alien signals.
It broke up a little bit. Yeah, we heard the very tail end of it.
Or I don't know, Boris Johnson might have done something in Parliament. You know.
Well, you're good now. You sound better.
Yeah, your audio's kind of been a little funky, but like not like that. Like it gets
Okay.
quiet. It got a quiet on occasion earlier in the episode, and I think it was
Yeah.
just your signal. But this time it was like really bad. So what did you say?
Oh, I was just saying that I enjoyed how challenging Sleeping Dogs' combat was. Like sometimes it was a bit unbearable, you know, when you just want to progress, but other times it's just like perfectly challenging.
I also liked
Right.
how they basically, hand-to-hand combat was a big element, but then the gunplay in there, like the gunplay was considered extremely difficult because it's guns, and like you really felt the difference between when you were like doing combat hand-to-hand, which was a little more forgiving because obviously you're punching people, but then when there's guns, it was high stake because it wasn't as common to be using guns, which I think added more tension to situations in that game, which I think added more uniqueness than I think like a Grand Theft Auto game where you always have a gun because it's America and we have guns everywhere, whereas in China you're not supposed to have guns. It's illegal.
I feel like it was, if I remember correctly, it was like 3 shots, right?
Yeah, it
Your
was
character
yeah,
dead.
it was not
It was quick.
It was very quick.
Yeah, you couldn't take like a whole clip. Like it was literally like 3 bullets and then
Yep.
you're fucking out.
Yeah. But I really liked that. It really added a new element to the gameplay that I think
Right.
that Grand Theft Auto never has. And which is why I prefer it over Grand Theft Auto in a heartbeat every time, because the gameplay is way more satisfying than Grand Theft Auto could ever be. Like Grand Theft Auto is a great sandbox sim. It's literally what it is. It's not a good game to like go through the flow of all of like the stuff it has, because it's either driving or shooting. That's all it is. Whereas Sleeping Dogs, it's got driving, it's got shooting, it's got kung fu, it's got collectibles, it's got speed runs, it's got parkour. Like there's so many elements to it that stuff that just like Grand Theft Auto I wish tried to embrace more of, and it just doesn't.
I mean, most of those things you mentioned, Mitch, Grand Theft Auto also has. I just say, because I love both games. I love Grand Theft Auto, I love Sleeping Dogs. I think they're both awesome games for different reasons.
Well, I got one more, fellas.
Yeah, I've got an honorable mention.
All right. Okay. So you guys may not know this game. You might have to Google this. I will make you do your first Google of the night for me. It is called Space Bunnies Must Die.
Space Bunnies Must
I've
Die.
heard of this.
Is this a DOS
Oh.
game? This sounds like a DOS game to me.
No.
Oh.
It is a published by Jinx. Developer is Ripcord Games. Made for Microsoft Windows in 1998. It is an action-adventure single-player game. I'll give you this.
I know this game, actually.
I'll give you the synopsis if you don't know it. So, what is it? It's Space Bunnies Must Die has a run, jump, climb, shoot style of gameplay similar to the Tomb Raider series. It's basically a comedy spoof of Tomb Raider, except if a hot girl from like that time period who just has big jugs and wears a tube top shoots a bunch of aliens, and she goes, "Let's go kill some aliens."
It's like Jenny McCarthy or Pamela Anderson, VIP.
Yep,
Do you
exactly.
guys remember that show?
No, I don't, but I know what you're talking about.
Does she literally have a New Jersey accent?
I forgot what accent she had. She had a really
it was like New Jersey and New York or some shit like that.
Yeah, but anyway, it's
that's great.
Yeah, it's not an amazing game, but like obviously we have come a far way as a society. I don't view women that way. I'm going to say that first and foremost. But like that time period is super interesting, and like you could really play the comedy on that. Like I would love to see them try to remake this, but like make it more tasteful. Modern, tasteful, and comedic. Like I think they could go for it.
It would probably be similar or like Lollipop Chainsaw or Bayonetta.
Yep.
It's kind of like the proto Bayonetta.
Yep.
Or the proto Lollipop Chainsaw. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. And I think I think it can be done tastefully well. That I think it could actually be embraced instead of like seen as disheartened as like as not.
Yeah. Or it's just going to be a fan service Neptunia type game.
Yeah, but I think
there's an audience for that.
Yeah, but I think the comedy option is there. Yeah, so
it's interesting. I did not expect you to pull that one out.
My dad played this game, and so that's how I know this game.
Yeah.
Question, Mitch. What is the significance of the space bunnies? Because I see hot woman, and I see scary looking alien. But where are the bunnies?
Look at its ears.
I think it's a.
It looks like rabbit ears. Have you? Here, I gotta pull. Hold on. Space bunnies. Now I gotta find you an image. But like even the cover art shows a bunny.
Oh, okay. I've seen some different cover art. There's like a bunny with a chainsaw for an arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all based off bunnies.
Alright, because on the cover art I could see it. It only showed like the alien and the girl.
Right.
But then on
the alien.
There's a
the alien's still
bunny rabbit creature.
The still the alien in the background's still a bunny. You can see the rabbit ears on top.
Oh, looks like
the red creature.
Yeah.
Is it? Are you looking at one with the red creature? Look at the top of its head. There's 2 ears sprouting out the top.
Yeah, they're all bunnies, and it's got the buck teeth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the buck. I see the buck teeth.
And then if you go, and then if you look up, there's actually the back of the art, and you can see a bunny with 2 guns in its hands.
Well, I prefer the furry kind of bunny because that bunny is not very nice.
That's a space bunny, dude.
Yeah. So
the space bunnies can be cute too.
And that's why they have to die.
Bunny is. Yeah, that's why they have to die.
Yeah, so I think I would love to see them try to like do, because like I really would like to, like I'm not a fan of, I mean I've never played the Lollipop Chainsaw games, but like I do want, and I still think it's like distasteful to me. I think you can do it better, and I really want them to do it with this one.
I think the way that you do it is you just give the character agency.
You give him agency. You give him actual character depth.
Well, I was gonna say you allow the player to choose. You allow the player to choose the stereotypical stuff, so it can play out in the more comedic, nostalgic way, or it could play out in the modern.
Well, here's the way you could do it in a writing style, at least. My personal opinion, you guys can correct me if you don't think I'm right on this, but I basically think you can put her in those situations that are stereotypical, but she is not dim-witted and like stupid blonde type mantra. She would be a smart, resourceful person that she would make fun of the fact that it's like, what am I? Am I in this situation because I'm just another blonde girl? Jesus Christ, come on now. Like
So
that's
I would give the player the
I agree
option.
with you.
I would give the player the option to choose two scenarios.
no, because then you have to do the
Because-
writing all over again, and that's too much.
No, it's not. It's not doing it over again. It's giving two options for that, and then it puts it back in the player's hands
Nah,
where
that's distasteful. I
where
don't want to do that
if-
to the. I don't want
if
to do
there's
that.
if there's a people are disgusted by the game or whatever, it's like, well, it was up to you, player. You chose to
Yeah,
make
but
this
giving,
game
but
play out
giving,
that way.
but having it in there basically
Oh.
is stating it's okay that women are seen
It's-
like
it's
that, and that's not
it's
okay.
though. No, it's not. It's
Matt-
it's doing the Far Cry 3 thing, where you could have just sat in the plane and not done anything, and the game ends. But it was up to you to get off the plane and shoot.
But there's a
everybody.
difference between going out of a plane and shooting up people and seen as a dumb blonde.
Right.
But Matt, like they could do the no Russia mission from Call of Duty, but if they do anything sexual in a derogatory way, then games journalists will make sure that game gets what it deserves.
Right.
But I do agree with Mitch. I like, I think there's some truth to like how in old games like certain female characters were sort of overly sexualized but weren't given any agency.
Right.
Because I don't know, because I haven't played this game. But it's more fun when you can kind of make fun of the sexuality at the same time as giving that character agency. I just like the idea of it being a freaking chick from New Jersey.
Yeah,
Who's
and like,
probably sassy as all shit.
Yeah.
And she can
Right.
go, oh, you gonna probe me? You can at least take me on a date first or some shit.
yeah, or like
like, great.
even the mentality of like they're complimenting her clothes, be like, why are you looking so skimpy? And she's like, they're comfortable. I like these clothes. They fit. Like they're comfy. And like instead of just being like, oh, it's because I want to look all skanky. Like that's not the point. It's
Right.
like no, she wears them because she thinks they're comfortable and finds them like she likes them. So like that is a way to make it tasteful and make it actually realistic. And like who knows? It could be even a situation where she doesn't wear this type of clothes, and maybe she runs into a situation where in a cutscene she's like fighting a monster and it rips part of the shirt, and so she has to rip that part of the shirt off, and she's like using it to like heal, like bandage herself. So like it's practical use, but yeah, you get to see a little more of her, but it's not like distasteful because it's like practical use. She's trying to bandage a wound or something. It's like,
Okay.
so like there's ways to do it that like is tasteful, and I think that's the ultimate challenge for a game like that. And I would love to see a studio really tackle it and really try. And I think if a studio tried, it doesn't matter if like they are perfect at it, because I don't think you'll ever be perfect at trying to tackle something like
Right.
this. There's always going to be a group of people that are not okay with what is being represented in a certain section of the game. But what I think is, if the studio says, you know, we're trying to make this really tasteful and really respectful, but we're also trying to like honor that type of genre in a new way, I think that type of messaging people will be all for. Because I think they're like, yeah, it is like those are comedy funds that like we can make fun of now because of the time we're living in today, which is should have been a time we lived in 50 years ago. But besides the point, like it's something we can laugh at now
Right.
and say, this is freaking ridiculous. Why did we live in a world like this?
Okay.
That's like I like enjoyed that opinion, because it's like, you know, you just get too many people that are a bit humorless in that degree and can't unsee the fact that, you know, people grew up and like existed in these decades and have a certain amount of nostalgia for it. You know, we're like, yes, of course it was fucking sexist and over the top of shit, but
Right.
there's still something kind of charming about it, you know. And if you tackle it in the right way, it can still be done like acceptably, you know, sort of making fun of the fact that happened, but at the same time giving more sort of texture and context to it.
I can't believe Space Bunnies Must Die was the one with the most in-depth conversation.
I feel like it was, yeah. The most to say about that game.
Well, Berkough, you got an honorable mention.
Yeah, so my honorable mention was going to be SOCOM 2 US Navy SEALs PS2. So this was one of the first games that, for the PlayStation side of things, that used the network card to allow you to play online with people. And yeah, it was just really, really fun and interesting. And I hadn't really played, other than some online PC, like first-person shooters, like StarCraft and shit like that. I hadn't really played online games, so it was an interesting experience to play SOCOM 2 online, and I think that style of third-person shooter could probably survive in the modern era. They could definitely revive it, and it'd be a Sony first party. So they could do something like a Call of Duty or a Halo, and have that available, on the PlayStation
They
side.
should, now that Microsoft owns Call of Duty. Well, now that they will own Call of Duty.
Right, exactly.
Just in case Microsoft decides one day, and let's make Call of Duty exclusive. I know we said
Yeah.
we wouldn't.
Nah,
but
they'll just
why
never
not?
release Call of Duty. That's their MO.
Uh,
Now that
It's
they
like
bought them, they
Call of
stopped
Duty's
coming
on a
out.
10-year hiatus. We need to make sure we get it right.
oh God.
Because we did so great with Halo. Actually, new announcement. We're closing all the Activision studios and transferring 343 off of Halo, and it's going to work on Call of Duty.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, it would be more fucking funny if they just said, like you said,
Switch.
Call of Duty's taking a 10-year break. Now they're all working on Halo.
Yeah, we're gonna get 3 Halo games a year.
Right.
oh, God, no.
Halo Infinite 2 on the Xbox 2 generations from now.
No, Halo Infinite 2 next year, because it's going against their word about it. Because it failed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we lied. Never mind. We're making a sequel. It's like, okay, Liam, do you got any last minute honorees or games to pop in there?
No, I'd just say again, much like when you said Infamous earlier in the show, and I didn't really say, but I wholeheartedly agree with that. Like, yes, please bring back Infamous. They don't have to do a new game, but those 2 games are fucking awesome. Like, they need to
Hands
be
down.
on the best hardware possible, and various other PlayStation 3 games that are just trapped there.
Yeah. All right, I have 2 other honorable mentions. One Keith wanted me to say, which is
Wait,
Speedball 2
how did
Brutal Deluxe.
how did Keith know we're doing this?
He was in the time coordination Discord channel.
But we didn't put the topic on there.
No, he asked me what the topic was because he wanted to update the Twitch channel.
Oh.
Hmm.
So I have no idea what the hell Speedball 2 Brutal Deluxe is, but apparently him and Dave both know what that game is, and they like it.
Ball
Yeah.
2 Brutal Deluxe. All right, let's look this up.
So that one, and then
Looks like foosball.
yeah, like soccer or football.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other honorable mention that I have is Dragon Age Trilogy, or quadrilogy if you consider Awakening to be a separate game.
Well, you can play them all on current hardware, so it's not an option.
It's an honorable mention, dude. It's
You can't.
Not a fucking...
It doesn't matter. Can't pick it. Can't. It's not an honorable mention because you can play it on modern platforms.
They do need to be updated though, for sure. Like the original Dragon Age is pretty rough these days.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say something that's gonna. It's like the first disagreement I've had all show. It's just like I'm gonna upset your wife, Matt. It's like Dragon Age is garbage franchise and it sucks.
Just entirely, like that's your opinion.
Yeah.
Just...
It kind of is. I've tried. I can't get on Dragon Age. Make more Mass Effect. Just Mass Effect.
All right, so I got her to play through Mass Effect though. So because she was such a big Dragon Age fan, she did play through Mass Effect.
And she repented and realized how much better it was.
No, she went back to Dragon Age.
Oh God. Oh God.
Yeah, like I'm like, all right, I can't even argue. You know, I've tried myself. Like I've tried to get into it. And yeah, it's hard.
I got.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize.
I have two honorable mentions because they're bad. They're sequels to each other. Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 for the PS1.
The original Insomniac, the Neversoft games.
The Neversoft.
Yeah.
The movie tie-ins.
No, those are nope. These are the TV animated series kind of tie-ins.
They weren't even.
Enter Electro wasn't one of them.
Yes, Enter Electro was the sequel. Yep, was the second one. Those were pretty good.
Not even tie-ins to the animated series. They're just like comic book games. Like they feel like.
I see.
I feel
so
I
good.
thought I didn't. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think they're attached to the series, but it felt like it was the TV show because it came around the same time.
Yeah, it was a little after that. Probably 98, 99.
Well, then at the time was Spider-Man Unlimited, which was the futuristic Spider-Man
Yeah.
TV series. So, but yeah, I liked those two games a lot. Those were really good.
They were, and the web swing was good, and it was really impressive.
The gameplay mechanics they did.
Yeah, just because it was on PlayStation hardware.
Yep.
Like, I liked how they split up the stages. So, like, one stage you'd be on the tops of buildings and you'd be swinging around, and
Yep.
like the next stage you're down in the city streets.
Or the next ones you're in a building and you're trying to solve a puzzle based off using your spider web mechanics. Like it's really well done.
Yeah, and you can climb walls and you can swing everywhere. You feel like Spider-Man. You're able to do all this shit that you expect Spider-Man to be able to do.
Yep, 100%. Well, gentlemen, I think we have brought enough back from the dead to enjoy ourselves for another 10 years.
Hogs of War.
What?
Wait, what?
Deep cut. Bring back Hogs of War.
Hogs of War? Okay, before it gets any more crazy, on that note, gentlemen. Berkough?
Are we out? We're out. Oh, wow.
Came to my mind and I had to slip that one in.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I was missing Fox Food.
Oh, you don't seem to be
No, I don't seem like I've had 8 beers. But I have.